I muted my computer. So what you guys didn't hear is I'm not an expert. I know you're shocked. I like doing the live because it's it's live, it's raw, it's uncut. I don't have to edit. Although I don't do a lot of editing. That's what I said earlier too, because my computer, it's a little bit glitchy. I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro because it's like the best, but I think my computer's getting a little full of, I don't know, whatever. So it's like trying to edit and it's like, So anyways, one day, you know what? Maybe I can get my kids to help, or someone will be like into editing to make me, look thinner. That's why I wear black. It's slimming. No, it's not. It's because our shirts are black. So, but it is slimming. It's benefits of, for a heavier set male. But anyways, why did I change the name? I don't know. No, just kidding. I kind of know. Why did I change the name from Peterbilt Mike to, I just about said One Nut Mike, but I didn't change it to that. And I didn't change it to Trucked Up or Trucked in the Head, because, that would kind of, lead someone to think that truck. Anyways, so it's Mike the Truck Nut. Why did I change it to Mike the Truck Nut? Well, Mike the Truck Nut was kind of an impulse decision. I've been thinking about the name for a while. And even when I got started in this, I guess I should start from the beginning. And this is where I'll probably babble on. Susan, you thought I was an expert? Oh, thank you very much. When can we see the interior on Smokey? Do you want to see the interior package, or like you can see it anytime, but no, I'm going to have to do an unboxing because I did get the interior, and I only saw one panel, but it looks amazing. Oh, so excited. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Because I like talking to y'all and reading the comments. And this is what I like about the live. It's it's the fact that we can kind of chat and you can ask questions or tell me, hey Mike, you talk too much. Oh, wait, people say that a lot already. And if I call myself Mike the Truck Nut, I can have the slogan of check your nuts. Because I don't know if you know this, but I had testicular cancer, so I only have one nut. One nut was taken by cancer, but that's okay because all you need is one. But anyways, it just kind of works together, Mike the Truck. Anyways, I'm going off. You're going here, and then you're going a little too far, Mike. You could have stopped there, but you got to take it just a little bit further. You didn't bring enough to share. I'm telling you, this coffee is good. Greetings from the Netherlands. Well, greetings from Prince George, British Columbia, Canada. It is a little ugly outside. It's not bad. It's that season where everything's dark or brown, I should say. Dark brown, dirty, dusty. Planning on sweeping the lot and all that good stuff. But why did I change the name? Well, when I started Peterbilt Mike, it was mostly to help sell trucks. I'm a truck salesman. I mean, I got the shirt on right there. See, Peterbilt. Woohoo, Peterbilt. Peterbilt Pacific Inc. is actually who I work for. Peterbilt Pacific Inc. So I just wanted to start a channel where I could share the new trucks, help sell, well, obviously help myself sell more trucks, and put it out there. I thought it would be fun. I know I signed up for the YouTube channel in 2015. I've actually been selling trucks since 2007. But I signed up to YouTube in 2015 because Travis, our former partsman, were like, yeah, we're going to start a YouTube channel, and yeah, we're going to do this, and da-da-da-da-da. And Travis did some videos on installing lights on his Dodge, and they got a few views. And I was like, yeah, I should do one with trucks because originally I was like, what do I know? I'm a truck guy. I like trucks. So anyways, but same old story. You're scared. I don't know. How do you start? I don't have a camera. I don't do this. I don't have a computer. I'm da-da-da-da. So then one day we're going through Costco. I'm like, there's a GoPro. I'm going to buy it. I'm doing YouTube. I'm just going to do it. Just do it. I was actually watching, I'm big into cars. I don't know if you guys realize that, but I got Corvettes and I love them. Like, I love Corvettes. I know I'm middle-aged. I should be wearing New Balance shoes right now and some jean cutoffs. But So my plan was because the C8 Corvette came out in early 2020, late 2019, they announced it. And I started my YouTube channel, like officially Peterbilt Mike. When was that? October 2020. So 21 was a full year and 22 was a full year. And now we're 23. But the thing is, I wanted some help to buy a Corvette. So I thought if I could make a little bit of monetization on YouTube, that it could help me buy a Corvette and blah, 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 and help me sell trucks and sell more trucks. And anyways, I'm babbling. This is pathetic, Mike. What do you do? So yeah, I'm like, okay, what do I come up with a name now? So I'm gonna start a channel. I'm gonna start saving for my C8 Corvette that I want to get one day. I want to sell more trucks. I want to, put myself out there. I want to show people what Peterbilt's all about. And it's like, well, got to get a name, got to get something catchy and And then I'm like, well, what do you got to be creative when it comes to thinking up names. And sometimes the simplest name is the best, like there's people that just have their name and it's fine. Got car guys like Daily Driven Exotics. And I guess where I was segwaying when I took a left turn is I was watching Daily Driven Exotics and they were talking about, getting into YouTube. And he says, you just got to start. You don't have to be good. You don't have to have fancy cameras. You just got to start. And if you start, you'll start making videos. You'll start doing more videos. And the more you do it, the more you're going to get comfortable talking to the camera. And it'll get better. It'll come together. So I started. Now, segue. What do we call the channel? Well, I don't know. I'm a Peterbilt salesman. I like Peterbilts. And, I'm searching. I'm trying to do truck YouTuber research. And I saw a Bruce Wilson, although he took a hiatus there. So I saw the channel, like, wow, this guy's got a ton of subscribers, but he's nowhere to be found. That's just his name. But it's like, I'm a salesman. How am I gonna let people know in that first little title what I'm about or what I'm doing? And then so I Google Peterbilt, Peterbilt, what comes up with Peterbilt? And Peterbilt Steve came up. Now he's a salesman somewhere down in the US, and I'm looking at his videos and I'm like, man, he's got like 60,000 subscribers. And honestly, they seem kind of boring because he's just walking around the truck and we've got skirts with lights and I don't know. I mean, it's fine. To help sell them trucks and shows all the accessories. And I actually had some customers that are like, yeah, I want to get some cab skirts like that, that Peterbilt Steve guide shared. So then I'm like, Peterbilt Steve, what about Peterbilt Mike? There's Peterbilt Steve, Peterbilt Mike. If someone Googles Peterbilt Steve and they hit Mike, then they'll just, kind of switch over to Mike. One of those things where if you opening a business and you want to be successful, you set up shop right across from your biggest competitor and you'll end up both doing better. But not that I compete with anyone in the US because I can't sell trucks to the US because I'm Canadian and I'm in Canada. Taxa Canada. We should change our name to Taxanada because let me tell you, we get taxed here like it's unbelievable. Yeah, we don't pay we pay for healthcare, but in a roundabout way. But man, the tax. So anyways, I've been dealing with a lot of tax with stuff lately. So it's so what do we name the channel? You know what? Peterbilt Mike. And I'm like, well, I don't know if, Peterbilt, like if, one day you want to sell t-shirts and that, can you really have Peterbilt on it? I'm like, yeah, but I'm a Peterbilt guy. And I talked to our district sales manager. He's like, yeah, no problem. It's no different. Someone naming their dog Peterbilt. Like, saying I'm a dog. Well, kind of. So yeah, they didn't care, but of course, common sense. You can't go and use the red oval and be like, it's Peterbilt Mike and, change it up because that would be what would that be? Copyright infringement, I guess. And then on the Kenworth side, another person that I actually talked to when I was starting my channel is I saw Andy the Kenworth guy. Now, Andy the Kenworth guy works for Inline Kenworth out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. And I just called him. I said, hey, Andy, thinking about doing this YouTube thing. What's it like? And he's like, it's a lot of work. There's not really any money in it, but, it helps pay for a little bit of camera stuff and it, it's fun. And he does some pretty good video work, but And of course, he's Andy, the Kenworth guy. So then I'm like, can I be Mike, the Peterbilt guy? And then I'm like, that's kind of copying a lot. So anyways, Peterbilt Mike. And I love Peterbilt Mike because I'm still Mike and I'm still Peterbilt Mike. When I'm selling Peterbilts, I am Peterbilt Mike and I love Peterbilt. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Peterbilt, hands down, has the best product moving forward. And I know, we've got our Freightliner Kenworth. Kenworth's a big competitor of ours. Well, they're kind of like we're brother and sister, or two brothers that don't like to talk to each other that fight every once in a while. But but yeah, with the product that we have and the design that we have, and everything's going electronic and eco-friendly and the technology, but the Peterbilt still got that classic look. And fun fact, the Peterbilt 589 is being released on May 9th. Big unveiling in Denton, Texas, at Texas Motor Speedway. You know who's going? Me. That's that guy. Me. Yes, I get to go on the corporate jet. We get to borrow our parent company's corporate jet. Might have to button up my top shirt. And yeah, on the 8th, was it the 8th or 9th? No, not the morning of the 9th. We're flying from Vancouver to Denton, Texas. We're going to party all night and, show the 589. I'm hoping to take you guys there. I don't know if I can do lives on my phone. Probably, maybe. Share it to Instagram, all that good stuff for the new 589. And I am super excited for it. You know why I'm excited for it? Because I've seen it in person before. Now, I saw it. Well, actually, I don't know. I saw something that looked like it could be perhaps quotations the truck, and it had the one that I think that it maybe could be kind of look like it had stainless steel mirror arms, so I can still do my wide load mirror brackets if I'm using it for logging. It still had pod mounted headlights. It still had outboard air breathers. It still looked like the truck. It's got a hood. It's got a hood and it's flat. So I'm excited for that. So don't get me wrong. I'm still Peterbilt Mike. But, then I started doing merch because at the end of the day, these truck projects cost money and I'm not made of money. So you're trying to, generate some revenue off YouTube, sell some t-shirts and that to help fund the channel. And I mean, it's no secret. We're doing this for a reason, to help fund, call it a GoFundMe for trucks. And I love doing it. Like I love trucks and my trucks. I wanted a project truck. And I told the story before, Freightliner cab over, could have bought it for $5,000. And I was like, and I was afraid to talk to the customer about it because I didn't want him to think I was lowball him. And then he sold it for $5,000 and it was beautiful. It was a Freightliner though. It wasn't a Peterbilt. So, and I guess this is where I'm getting at, that on my channel, I've got 3 Kenworth cab overs and 2 Peterbilt cab overs and a Peterbilt conventional. So, I had a viewer once say, geez, Mike, I want to buy a t-shirt, but it says Peterbilt and it's Kenworth. And he's like, can't have Peterbilt and Kenworth in the same thing. And it's like, wow. Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense. But anyways, I guess I'm just trying to say that, like, if I'm going to sell t-shirts and it says Peterbilt Mike, am I pushing the envelope of what I can get away with? And the last thing I want to do is encroach on any stepping on toes or have Peterbilt send me a cease and desist or say, hey, you cannot do that because this is a licensed name, which it is. So, and just distance myself. And, like on YouTube, or not YouTube, this is YouTube, on Instagram, because I had more Instagram followers than I had YouTube followers. I had 22,000 until I changed the name and now dropped down to 21.9. So sorry, those guys. And, I don't want people to think that my opinions are the opinions of Peterbilt Pacific, because they're not. And if if I'm sharing my trucks and I'm sharing my, and I just want to put it on my Instagram, well, I don't want people to think that, well, you're a Peterbilt guy and you're working at Kenworth. Like, what's that about? And anyway, so I just figured, you know what, we gotta we got a shift. You know, the channel started is just Peterbilt stuff and my new trucks and showing trucks. And then one day I bought Kenny. And I thought, man, Kenny would probably do good on YouTube. And it did. That first video, it's over 1 million views. Will it start for Kenny? And that's when the channel started to shift from, you know, Peterbilt Mike doing new truck stuff like Peterbilt Steve and Andy the Kenworth guy, and shift towards Mike, the truck nut, like Mike Chamberlain, like me, myself, like doing my own project. And you know, you start getting immersed in it. And then the more I do the old truck stuff, not the less that I care about the new truck stuff, but I just, you know, it's good for YouTube. It's fun to share it with you guys. We're building a truck, and, you know, I think I was going to say anybody can take a new truck and build it up. Well, not anybody, because it takes a bucket full of cash, let me tell you, or good credit. It's like Dad always said, it's not the bucket full of, well, it's not the $100,000, it's the $1,000 down anyways. But yeah, so new truck stuff, even though they're beautiful, they're gorgeous, but it's not the same as someone that takes an old truck that's been forgotten about and left for dead, so to speak, and brings it back to life. And, you know, that's where, like with the cab overs and even Duke, trucks had been left for dead, to bring them back and just enjoy them. And, you know, it was I would call it the golden age of trucking, you know, that late 70s, early 80s, you know, when truckers were truckers, and there was, you know, there was pride and there was respect, probably a lot more respect. It's a tough gig out there nowadays. And, you know, and everything's, you know, we're getting more big companies, but I would call that like the golden age of trucking. So that's where it's different, you know. So I just wanted to change the name so that, you know, I love Peterbilt Mike. I love the name Peterbilt Mike, but I just want my own identity. You know, I don't want people to think that I'm only Peterbilt, and I also don't want anyone to think that I'm a direct representation of Peterbilt. I mean, I'm a Peterbilt truck sales representative, so I'm representing Peterbilt Pacific Inc., especially when I'm wearing this shirt. You know, you gotta toe the mark. Otherwise you could get fired. Or if you're going to be a dill hole, mind you, if you're a dill hole, you probably not get go anyways. But, and you know what? No one has said anything. The company has been super supportive. You know, our president, our vice president, our marketing person, everybody's really supportive. But I just think it's best if I'm my own thing. So anyways, that's what it is. So then I thought, Mike the Truck Nut, because you guys would probably know better, because 120 of y'all that are on this live, and I mean, it's only 120, but one day it could be more, but I can be a little bit nutty. I know, it's just the way it is. So I thought Mike the Truck Nut. Maybe there's a better name, maybe there's not. We can do t-shirts with a big nut on it and the truck coming out. And I'm still going to share new truck stuff, because if a truck is cool, it's cool, right? So, but I want to do everything. I want to do more Will It Starts. I want to go and do more truck shows, because I've done a terrible job of going to truck shows last year. I want to work on my own trucks and fix them up. I want to drive my trucks. I still want to daily drive it, but it's a little harder. And I want to showcase, like, if I see a cool Western Star, like the one that I was talking about, get the engine out. I did a video on it last year. I have an agreement to buy it, but, you know, I don't know if they still want to sell it to me, because it's been, you know, supposed to be out last year. Now it's this year. But my problem is I was buying it for the engine, and I'm like, damn, it's too good to take the engine out. But anyways, we'll see what happens there. So anyways, that's why I changed the name from Peterbilt Mike to Mike the Truck Nut. So nothing real. Nobody said nothing. Wasn't a big boo-boo. Just figured it better represents the channel. And you know what? We got 37,000 of you guys, which I really appreciate, subscribers. So when's the best time to do anything? Yesterday or now. So we did it now. We just making a shift. And I don't want to change the channel name again, because people probably have a hard time finding it. Maybe the channel doesn't do good or whatever. I don't know. But I just thought it was appropriate. So, and I should probably read some of your comments, because I've been yabbering on, but yeah, you know, Saab, and here's an interesting thing. And I just, because his name is Saab GBG Dashcam, which is kind of an interesting name. Says, hi, Mike, follow the channel every week here in Sweden. The thing who make the channel great, I believe, is because you are open and can make fun of yourself. And that is 100% true because, you know, if you can't make fun of yourself, who can? Hello, Mike. Good evening. Did you order the Peterbilt truck from Smokey and the Bandit 2 days? Hello from Denmark. Yeah, I'm not going to build a Smokey and the Bandit Peterbilt truck. I mean, they're cool, or it was cool, but you know, Mark from Twin Sticks is doing the Smokey and the Bandit truck, which kudos to him because, you know, trying to make it movie accurate, that's a tough one. And honestly, me, because I like to drive them. Well, I mean, Mark likes to drive his trucks too, but I just would rather, you know, things like twin stud, double nut wheels. I hate them. Hate them. Pilot hub is just so much nicer. So that's why all my trucks are getting converted to pilot hub. So eventually, I mean, you know, you gotta take things as they come. But and fun fact, can't wait to see Mike starting work on K2. It's about time for that. It really is about time for that. And you know, it's interesting because the channel's got a. I guess the problem is I should probably have like a board where I say we're going to do this, this, and this, and this, and to that truck. But it kind of, you know, you ebb and flow, I guess, is the right thing. You know, you kind of bend with the times because it depends on the parts you can find. And if money was no object, and let me tell you, if I won the lottery, I had it all planned out. Brand new 6NZ out of the crate, 2018B transmission into K2 and high horsepower. Oh, it'd be great. K100 with a big cat. And I know they're out there. People are building them, but I don't have the funds for it right now. And I say right now because you know what? One day, that is the goal. The goal one day is to be able to buy a new truck myself just to bling up. But yeah, so ebb and flow. So things got to change depending on what you find. Like, you know, Duke, or wait a minute. No, not Duke. Smokey. He's got a 12-liter Detroit 60 series, dropped an injector tip, which is why it got parked. And so it needs a rebuild. I bought an injector, thought, maybe I could just put the injector in. No, of course, it's not that easy. And of course, as we dug into it, all of a sudden the turbo's seized and the air filter housing is rusted through. And it's like, isn't this great? There's more and more and more. So then I was thinking, you know, I spent all summer last summer putting the engine back together in Duke, which I can do, and I'll rebuild the 60 series. But then I think, what if you find the 60 series aren't a really expensive engine. So you can find a good running one for a reasonable price. So I might do that. I might just buy another engine. And that's why I say it's ebb and flow as to what kind of deals pop out of the woodwork. And there's a truck that has a 13-speed. It's a 1998 Peterbilt 379, but she's a little rough. I'm not going to lie. She's real rough on the body side. I think it was in a crash or it fell over something anyways. And it's not repairable. Well, I mean, I guess everything is repairable, but it's anyways. So truck wrecker guy got it, and there could be the opportunity to buy the truck. And actually Dad went and looked at it. He's like, you know, that truck is nice. You should just buy the whole thing. And I'm like, I don't know. It seems, you know. So anyways, I went and looked at it yesterday. It's got a 14-liter Detroit in it. That is a reman that was like it was built in 2022. So here, this old truck that looked kind of junky on a trailer. The sleeper's got dings in it. I mean, it was a nice truck at one time, but it's probably got 6 million kilometers, which is probably 4 million miles. Dad's right. Yeah. But the problem is, I don't think the people like the people that deal in the used parts realized that it had like a new engine. I mean, it was built in 2022. So that's like what, last year? So I don't know that I can get it because now the price of the engine is probably going to, I'm actually going to go there today and because they're going to get it started and see how it goes. But the beauty is, like, you got the engine, it's got a turbo, which I need the turbo. It's got a 13-speed transmission. Well, we need a 13-speed transmission for stubby. And the rear frame doesn't have an insert and it's not rust jacked. Now, it's not perfect because it's that's got a dented cross member and the one flange is bent a little bit. But and I was thinking, for Kenny, so it could be the possibility where you buy one truck and basically cut it up and use all the components for the other trucks. But now that engine is so new, I don't know if I'll be able to afford it. I mean, gosh, if I could you imagine that? Like a 14-liter Detroit and Smoky, like Smoky will be, people think Smoky's called Smoky because it's going to put black smoke out like crazy and, juice her up. So she's got 600 horse. So we'll see what happens there. We gotta, if I can get it for the right price, I think that's what I'm going to do. And then just swap the engine. But that's where I say, it's kind of like ebb and flow. And with K2, the other option is buy a truck like that and just take the whole running gear and put it in K2. And the only reason why I started on Smoky before K2 is because I was able to get the interior from the day cab company. And, so shout out to the day cab company, man, they make a great product, and quick. So we use the damaged interior out of Smoky as a template. So you guys could go and order a K100 interior from the day cab company and they got it all on their computer and go, okay, print it out, or I don't know how they do it. If how they have templates. So anyways, they can sell them. And I got the interior, but I don't have the cab done. But there will be a video this Friday coming of starting back on Smoky, and I tried my hand at fiberglassing. And let me tell you, it didn't go great. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Mike's not a bodyman. Not yet. The good news is I went and checked on stuff yesterday and I was happy. So let's just say in the episode, when things go bad, it gets better. And it's like Dad says, if things are bad right now, it'll get better. And if things are really good, it'll probably get worse. So yeah. And I apologize for not getting more videos out of it, but I went to Florida. I know. Spring break. Well, I guess I've been back for 2 weeks now, just over 2 weeks. We took the kids to Disney World, and we had some WestJet money because, of course, we use WestJet credit card and companion fares. And took the kids to Disney World. It was fun, but it's not like one of those relaxing vacations because it's like, we're up in the morning, we're going to the parks, we're going on rides, and there's thousands of people. So, but it was fun. Kids are getting old, haven't traveled with them since 2019. So that delayed progress. And then we had a Japanese exchange student as soon as we got back. So that was last week or the week before. I think it was last week. I don't know. I can't remember. Yusuke came over from Japan on the exchange program because my daughter, she did that. She actually did that at the beginning of 2020. She was actually in Tokyo when there was that cruise ship in the Tokyo harbor with all the COVID people. So anyways, the Japanese kids didn't get to come over then. So then we had them. And so you probably saw the video clip or whatever, where I was on top of a mountain in Jasper and it was a lot of fun, but I wasn't able to get any truck work. Well, actually that's a lie. The bling chrome that I put on Duke, I did that when we got back from Jasper, but I was able to do it at home, which of course now my home doesn't have my truck shop, which I tell you, I'm pretty grateful that I got two shops to use. I got my truck shop and I got my car shop, which my car channel is called Mike's Garage. So if you ever want to go check out what my Corvettes are like, go to check out Mike's Garage. And it's Mike's, like Mike with I think it's an apostrophe S Garage. And I got a red Corvette on it. And there's a lot of Mike's Garage. It's one of the problems with being named Mike. There's a lot of Mikes in the world. So there's a lot of Mike's Garage sales. But anyways, so I got my car garage and I got my truck shop, which Mom and Dad are now living at the old house, which is awesome. And Dad's got his own projects and Dad's got his half of the shop for whatever he wants to do. And right now we got Stubby ripped apart in it and Kenny's just staying warm. But it's a pain in the butt when you go to work on one thing and you got parts of the other thing. And I know, Mike, I got pots, I got tools at my one shop when I need them at my other shop. Like, first world problems. But anyways, I'm grateful. And you know what? Being able to work with Dad is fantastic because, my Uncle Arnold actually just passed away. What was that? Saturday night. He's been sick for a while now. He was 86, I think. I should know that. But but he had a good life. I mean, let's face it, if you get to your late 80s, heck, even if you get into your 80s, it's awesome. And he loved hunting and fishing, and he did taxidermy, and he was always like the center. Well, Mom called him the center of attention, but he was just a fun guy. Maybe that's where I get kind of my goofiness from. But anyways, he was a fan of the channel, and it was really cool because him and his son Doug came up camping. My cousin came up camping. They came up hunting, and they stopped in, like just popped into work and said hi, and they followed the channel, and it was really nice to see him, and thinking about things, and changing the channel name, and let me tell you, it can be taxing working on trucks, having a full-time job. You got family, you got new house, you're trying to move, you're trying to make content, you got to sell trucks, you got to pay bills, you got blah blah blah. To where I thought, I don't know, maybe I should just quit YouTube. Is it really worth all the work? And because it's YouTuber burnout is a real thing. Creator, whatever. But I thought about my uncle and the fact that he liked the channel, and it's like, you know what, Mike, you just gotta shift down a gear, maybe cruise a little bit, try not to get content out 14 times a week. Although this is why I'm doing this and why I put content out last Saturday, because I'm going to do more. I'm going to step up my game. You just reflect on what we're here for. And I'm here to make content and play with the truck. So, and Glenn says, stay positive, Mike. And that's a hard thing sometimes. And, I know one of somebody commented on my video the other day that he likes to watch my videos when he's, because when he's depressed, and male depression, I don't know if it's different from female depression, but we're guys, we're tough, we're whatever. But yeah, sometimes it's tough when you're the breadwinner and you got stuff going on, but you got to get up at 3 a.m, or you're, in some crappy little town waiting to pick up your load, and you'd rather be at home, but you got to do what you got to do to pay the bills. So you know what? Sometimes we guys get down, and if I can make videos and you enjoy watching them, and share the truck with you guys, that's what it's all about. So that's, I don't know. I think that's it. Mike the Truck Nut. What do you think of the name? I can't think of anything better right now. So Mike the Truck Nut. You know what? Still Peterbilt Mike. Instagram, still going to share pictures, still going to share new truck stuff. Still going to do lives. Still want to do a podcast. Not really sure how to get into the podcasting. I think it'd be fun to interview Dad actually, and more older trucking gentlemen, because I think that's one of the things that the industry is lacking is history in trucking. As people retire, pass on, trucking manufacturers are owned by corporations, their accountants, their that's good coffee. Actually, it's not, but it's good enough. No, it's fine. But yeah, like it's like people that went to university, which what, if you went to university, good for you, fantastic. But sometimes I think there's a disconnect with people that actually are from trucking. And I'm not saying that the people that are at the top of the food chain didn't come, because I don't know where they came from, but I know in a lot of places that there's, let's face it, it's all about shareholders. We got to make the numbers. What are you doing? What's your market share? We got to do this. We got to do that. You don't want to make a truck too good, because then no one's going to replace it. And you don't want to make a truck too bad, because then no one's going to want it. And just the way the world's going, it's crazy. So I just think there's a bit of a disconnect with you guys, a trucker. And that's why, like with myself, with my Instagram and that, my opinions are not Peterbilt Pacific. And I certainly hope I don't put something out that, would be a negative towards the company I work for, because but it's also, it's just good to be separate. So anyways, that's it. Nothing too crazy. Mike the Truck Nut. Hopefully I don't lose subscribers. Hopefully people still can find me, and hopefully you guys, follow along for the truck stuff. So that's all. Yeah, I was just reading Keith's comment here. I know what you mean about old school trucking. I started back in the 80s, no traction control, no ABS, no seatbelt, never felt safe because of the driving standards everybody else on the road. That's true. Now, the other flip side to that is there weren't as many vehicles on the road. Because I know, like, well, at least up here in Canada, where I'm at, we haven't built any roads in like forever. So like the highways we're on, it's the same highway that was there in the 60s. It was 2 lanes, but now there's, more traffic because it's not the 60s anymore. So, and the trucks drive, I think sometimes trucks driving too nice is a detriment too, when they drive like a car, because then it's just like, whoa, foot up on the dash and give her. But gosh, I'm probably babbling. Well, I am, but we're talking trucks. Why did we change the name? What should the name be? Where should we take the channel? When I say we, because of the fact that without you guys as subscribers, it's not a channel. It's just Mike talking to a wall or to a camera. But yeah. So anyways, what else can we talk about? Talk about the 589 reveal. That's going to be cool. Looking forward to that. Andrea was actually, it's funny how I got on the jet. Andrea, God bless my wife. She is fantastic. She enjoys the truck stuff and supports me. And she would love to go to Texas. She'd like to go to the factory. She's heard about it. I've been lots of times, and she would like to go. So we were like, you know what? We should like just fly ourselves to Texas, go to the reveal and make a little vacay out of it. And I mentioned it to our VP. I just said, hey, is anybody else going to the event? Because Andrew and I were thinking about just taking ourselves there. And he's like, well, we might be able to get the jet and da-da-da-da-da. And then he's like, yep, you got a customer. And so then I ended up on the jet, and Andrea can't come because there's only 10 seats or something. It's not very big. Well, I mean, it's big enough. It's not a 737, but it's bigger than my jet. So yeah, Andrew can't come. So that's kind of a bummer because we're going to do it together. But Matt's Mid-America Truck Show, gosh, lots of great stuff there. I followed a little bit, not as much as I would have liked to, just because it was a busy weekend when it was on, and I was, I'm top of a mountain, Jasper somewhere. But Andrew and I want to plan a trip to Mid-America, meet some other YouTuber guys, meet some truck guys, meet you guys. Gentry and Sons was there. James Pretty was at the Gentry and Sons booth. Charlie Trucker from TikTok was there. I love that guy. He's just, just if you haven't seen Charlie Trucker on TikTok, you got to check him out. And the trucks, like when I was a kid, I remember going to big truck shows down, I want to say it was like LA, but I don't know if it was actually in LA, but I think it was. And I'd collect like hats, and I probably had like 100 truck hats. I had, Freightliner and Kenworth and Eaton and Dana and Mac and I don't know what else there was hats for, but I had a lot. And I loved it. That's how I grew up. Out in the parking lot, there were cab overs with the big murals on them, like you get in the late 70s when we were doing like murals. So frick, that was awesome. So yeah, we're going to do a trip to Mid-America, obviously put it on YouTube, share it with you guys. Hoping maybe we can plan it for next year. And the other cool thing is, because Mid-America, it's in, where the heck is it now? Tennessee, I think. But it's not very far from Bowling Green, Kentucky. You know what's in Bowling Green, Kentucky? Corvette factory. I know. So I want to go there. But yeah, one day. Hope to do more truck shows. I'm not going to make any promises, though, because I was thinking about if I promise to do more lives or I promise to do more of this or that, and then I don't get it done, then I feel like one of those Indian givers. But maybe the channel could be called Pacific American Classics, Care and Restorations, PACR for short. Hey, there we go. Covers on both your trucks, mates. That's true. But what if I get a Freightliner? I was talking about buying that black Freightliner that I looked at in that one video. Even though the interior is pooched in it, we can get a new interior. Hey, Mike, you ever watched 60 movie? It's a mad, mad, mad world, as Phil Sivers says. Truck drivers, what's wrong with you? And some kind of nope, it's not ringing a bell. I don't think so. No matter what the name is, enjoy your contract. You come across as real down to earth and put out great content. Thanks, Twig Impala. Twig Impala. Does that mean you have an Impala for a car? Because my first car was a 1964 Impala. Super cool. And body mounts were rusted out. And of course, traded it for pickup. Yada, yada, yada. Who would ever thought the 64 Impala would be so bloody popular to where you can't find one? I was trying to find one because I'd like to have a 64 Impala again. They're like worth a lot of money. It's crazy. You can buy a 63, you can buy a 65, but the 64s are one day. Actually, there's one on Kijiji right now. Kijiji is, well, I don't know if they have Kijiji down in the US, but anyways, there's one on Kijiji for, the guy's asking like 44 grand and could get it for 35. And I was like, anyways, that's for Mike's garage. So, so I'll give you guys an update on what I was working on this weekend. Have you ever seen Blue Collar Bruce's? Yes. That Freightliner looks good. I like Bruce's cab over. And semi-casual. Oh, there you go. Short and sweet name. Semi Mike. It's kind of like semi-casual. Semi Mike. Semi-sane. I live in Mexicali, and we have a Kenworth factory in our city. I hope you can come someday. That's a good point because it's a Kenworth factory in Mexicali, and I think they make T800s there where the Peterbilt 520 little cab over, it's made in Mexico as well. And we were actually talking about doing some customer tours of that factory because we've never done it. We've never been to Mexico to do customer tours there. So it's certainly something on our radar. I don't know if I'll get to go because the 520 is more of a garbage refuse truck. Garbage refuse. What else do they use them for? Concrete pumper trucks. So that's not really my customer base. Like, gosh, I don't even think I've sold a 520. So they probably won't let me go. I mean, I would love to go. What a great thing. I get to go to Mexico and tour a truck factory. But yeah, one day I hope to. And, it's funny because there is the Kenworth factory in Mexicali. So, So yeah, what am I working on right now? Smoky is my, I'm working on that fiberglassing, and I was so frustrated. So the resin, it says use 11 ounces of hardener for 0.94 of a liter of resin, but yet the bottle of hardener is in cc's, and of course the other stuff is in a metal jug. The mixing bowl I have is in ounces, and I'm like, how do I convert this? So I did what any normal red-blooded Canadian American would do. I put some resin in, and I went, loot. Yeah, that looks good. Mixed her up, and first batch kicked off quick. Kicked off pretty quick. So that went fast, and I was like, okay, that was too much hardener. Trial and error. So I put a little bit less in. Made a bigger batch. Did my thing, glued, for lack of a better tude. What the heck word is tude? For lack of a better word, and tude and word, anyways, for lack of a better word, I glued it in with the resin. Came back on Sunday. It was still wet. Like, I guess I didn't put enough hardener in. It was too cold in there. So I peeled my fiberglass strips off. Bloop. I guess this is a spoiler alert for the next two videos, but yeah, I was ticked off. So then made some more, and we cranked up the heat in the shop because it was only 52 degrees in the shop when, on the can it says it should be between 60 and 80 degrees. So yeah, turned up the heat in the shop, made some more. I'm putting it on, and then all of a sudden it starts getting thicker, and I'm like, oh, and anyways, it kicked off in a hurry. So I made another batch, and hopefully, fourth batch is the charm. But I'll keep it for the video. But yeah, so Smokey's the primary one to get done. But if I can get this engine in this Pete, I might shift gears and get it running, because if it's running, then I can drive it outside, sand, make a big mess, back it inside, because there's gonna be a lot of sanding. But yeah, it's coming along. And I want to now that the snow is melting, now we can go look at trucks. We can go to the truck wrecking yards. There's something coming up where I I got to go to Edmonton. And let me just say, if I got to go to Edmonton, I'm really going to try hard to see if I can meet up with a guy that lives really close to Edmonton and see if I can maybe do an interview with him, because I think that would be cool. But we'll see how that goes. It's going to happen. Well, me going to Edmonton, going to Edmonton is going to happen. So Smokey's engine, I either got to rebuild it or replace it. So I've been kind of keeping my eyes on one I could replace, because I could swap the engine out in a few days. I say that like it's so easy. Whereas rebuilding, it's going to take me longer. And we don't really have any Detroit guys at Peterbilt. And I kind of, because I haven't put Detroits and Peterbilts for a long time, and I really rely on the guys here for their expertise and knowledge. And man, we got some awesome engine mechanics, just fantastic. Like, these guys they're good. Like, you get an engine built in our shop, it's probably going to be it is going to be a better engine than a reman engine, because our guys, you got tolerances, and I've said this before, but you got your tolerances where, a reman might be like, it makes the cut, so it's good enough. Whereas our guys are like, no, we want to make it so it's right as good as it can possibly be. So, because at the end of the day, if we can make it as good as it, that might be the difference between another 500,000 kilometers, like your tolerances and stuff. So our guys do a fantastic job, and I can't say enough about them. And, that's why I'm so proud to work for Peterbilt Pacific too, because that's why I've been here for almost 12 years. Just great people, been here a long time. And, at the end of the day, they're all trucks. They all break down. They all have their issues, but it's the people in the building that make the difference. And I'm not going to BS you guys. So, unless you're asking me about my weight, and then, I only weigh 150 pounds. Honest. I was, looking at the engine. I'm just going to read your comments here. I'm trying to think what you could sell a 522 aside from refuse and pumps. See, we could make a 520 logger if you had more horsepower, but you can't get any more horsepower. And fun fact, you can get Primax air suspension in a 520, but I can't get in a tri-drive. Hello. Now, I think the factory is working on it, which reminds me, I should put in an OAR, an options approval request, to put Primax suspension in, because that's something that I would really like to get in our Peterbilt tri-drives, just to have another option from Pete Airtrack, a new way. Pete Airtrack, hands down, best traction of any suspension. Not the best riding, I don't think. Best articulation. Can be high maintenance once you get to your 4 or 5 when you do all the bushings. But if you do the work yourself, it's high on labor, cheap on parts. New way, old school New way was better than the new school New way. The new way is okay. It's not as good a traction. It's simple. The air suspension is really easy to use for weighing your truck, because there's no spring in there. But we have had cases where the torque tube on the bottom, when you put a big twist on like quad trucks, where it's actually gotten stuck, where it twists a bit, and then the truck's like kink. So it's not bad, but it's not the best. Well, I don't, what is the best? Because there are bests for each application. It's like tank trucks. If you got a body job tank where, you don't want your frame to do this, because your tank will go like fuel tank or tank, AirTrack, because AirTrack, your wheels are going to, your wheels are going to go, and your frame's going to stay flat. So that's why, if you notice, probably 99% of fuel trucks have AirTrack, because it saves your tank from cracking. I know, fun fact, because it articulates most of anything more than AirTrack, or no, not more than airliner is what I was going to say. So K2 sitting in the mud. Yeah, I can't move it right now. It's in a soft spot. I think when we get the transmission in stubby, I'm going to kick Kenny outside too, and we're going to put K2 in, and I just got to finish peeling the stuff off the frame. I think I'm going to try and buy that Western Star and either use the engine out of it. There's also some cab overs down in Quesnel that I have to go look at. I talked to the fellow that has them. We were going to wait until the snow subsided, because he bought a bunch of them. And, there's 3 trucks that I could buy for $15,000, which could be parts trucks or could just need some work. Some of them run really good, and the ones that run really good, I think he wants 20 grand for it, 15 to 20 grand or something like that. Well, I'm not in the market for that. I can spend 15 or 20 grand. I'm going to have a freaking awesome engine for K2. So yeah, K2 is going to come in because you know what? Everybody asked me about K2. It looks great. It does have some cracks in the body that Dad and I were talking about this day before yesterday, actually, because the backup light mounts, they're hucked into the cab. And of course, because this truck has been sitting with no engine since the 90s, probably, one of them got hit. It kind of tore the aluminum, but it's only, you know, 2 little spots. So I think what we're going to do is just take that bottom backup light bracket right off, and just get like a stainless steel cover, stick over it, hide the holes, and then that could be a sticker for your, what do you call it? Your fuel sticker. You know, you got to have your NFA or NAFTA and little square fuel decals. So that would be a perfect application, and it's cheap and affordable. If you guys follow Vice Grip Garage, which let's face it, you probably all do, because you know Derek is awesome. Just putting it out there. He's got his Shine Juice that he's selling now. Now it's not cheap to ship to Canada, but you know, I was thinking for a faded truck like K2, that Shine Juice would probably be perfect. Bring that paint back and just leave it as is. You know, it's patina. Leave it as patina and paint a different truck. So, and you know, in all reality, I think I find the mechanical stuff easier than the body stuff because I mean, I was a mechanic, not a licensed mechanic, but worked on trucks virtually my whole life. So you know what, doing the mechanical side, it's easy, or at least it seems easy, you know, especially if you got unlimited part supply. But yeah, so mechanics, this interior thing, it's got me sketched a bit. Well, not the interior so much as just the body work, but you know, at the end of the day, that's how you learn. And yesterday when I went and checked on it, I felt a lot better about it than I did on Sunday morning. Sunday morning, I was like, what have I gotten myself into? You know, you ever have those days? Me too. But anyways, guys, I've been talking for almost an hour, and I should probably go to work. I was actually following the auction. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna talk a little longer. I'm gonna show you what I was doing. So, life of a truck salesman. I'm gonna log into my computer. Control Alt Delete my password. 1. So that's the only thing you get to know, that my password starts with the number 1. But I was actually watching Ritchie Brothers. So there's an auction today. Well, there's actually an auction in Houston, Texas. And there's one in Grand Prairie. And I was watching to see what the market's doing. What are used trucks doing? What are people paying? Like what? And I got some emails there, but what? Where's my? Oh, I muted it. That's why I can't hear it. So yeah, now they're on to skid steers, and I guess you guys can kind of see that. I'll just turn you a little bit. So yeah, we're just watching the market. If you guys follow Twin Stick, which you probably do, he does his Ritchie Brothers walkthroughs and the auction site. God dang it! Sorry about that. Let's just mute it right down. So if we scroll up, I was just watching to see where trucks were going at. You know, there's 2013 Kenworth, 79,000. 2007 Western Star, 75. 2007 Kenworth, 49. 02, 70. 03, 37. So it's looking like truck prices. There was a 2019 and a 2020. The 2020 went for 220,000, and the 2019 I think went for 215. But prices on the older stuff is coming down a little bit. You know, it's more reflecting how where they should be. But I think the problem with new trucks being so high, the spread graph is going to be huge. So if you got something with low mileage, it's going to be up here. But you know, a couple of years or a few 100,000 K can push you to the bottom. But anyways, That's new truck stuff. Not One Nut Mike stuff. One Nut Mike? That would be a channel name, eh? One Nut Mike. Mike the Truck Nut. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Mike the Truck Nut here, aka Peterbilt Mike. Still Peterbilt Mike. I'm just gonna call everything. I just both said One Nut Mike again. Mike the Truck Nut, because I am a truck nut and whatever. Can't do anything about it, so might as well just absorb it, take it. I need a haircut too. Last guy cut my hair, did a crappy job. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. That's it for me. Mike the Truck Nut. Kind of miss Peterbilt Mike, but in a way, I'm excited for the shift moving forward. Stay tuned. New video on Friday. Starting the body work on Smokey. And yeah, it's going to be one heck of a ride. Thanks for following along, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace. Peace. Peace and love be with you. I'm not really a flower power guy. It's pretty good, though, to be peaceful. Okay, how do we do this? I guess I should go back to work because it's now 11:05 Pacific Standard Time. You know what the good thing about that is? It's almost lunchtime. My stomach just growled. I should go for a walk is what I should do because I'm putting a low weight. Don't know if you guys have noticed that. I know. It's working on it, though. After Florida, I hit my highest. Okay, since you guys, you 124 are still watching, you know what? It's 57 minutes. Let's just take it to 60 minutes, a full hour. I got up to like 272 pounds. I have never been that fat before in my life. 266 used to be my high. So now I'm back. Well, actually was it this morning I stepped on the scale or was it last night? I think it was this morning. I was 268. But you know what? Andrew went to the coast to get one of our cats fixed because his one nut didn't drop. So that's a whole thing. Taking your cat to a surgeon at the Lower Mainland 8 hours away because he's only got one nut. Anyways, so I had McDonald's last night because Piper that drives the kids brought me home McDonald's. So that's probably wasn't good. But anyways, I'm going to smarten up and we're going to get back on track because when I started this channel and I look at my profile picture, I was a lot thinner. So anyways, guys, take care. Sorry for sharing more than I probably should have at the end here, but you guys that stick around to the end, you're the OG. Appreciate you very much. Stay tuned and thanks for watching. And